Let's take a live look now across western Washington and what has actually turned out to be a pretty nice day considering how gloomy it was this morning.
Yeah, that's been the trend we've been on throughout this week. Clouds in the morning and then it clears up in the afternoon for a nice sunset.
Yeah, it does. It could be a tick warmer. We could use a few more degrees. Average high at 69, getting closer to that 70-degree mark. And we're just not anywhere near that today. We're going to show you those numbers here soon. Something else that's been a little different today in comparison to the past few days. Northern King County heading up into Snohomish County and out at SeaTac Airport. We didn't get anything in the rain gauge there, but we definitely did out there at Everett. Payne Field coming in just under 1/10 of an inch. And some of you probably went into work having to deal with some of that patchy drizzle and some of that area or some of those areas of sprinkles. Completely different story now. We're seeing skies that are cleared out and we just have a few clouds off into the distance. Clouds are coming back in tonight. Out closer to the coast, we clear out more quickly, and we're going to see the same as we head on into the day tomorrow. We really don't have to deal with the clouds as long, but since we are right there on the water by the Pacific Ocean, Westport, we do keep things just a bit cooler. And so with even the additional sunshine, temperatures just barely made their way to maybe 60 degrees this afternoon. Right now we sit at 58. We topped off at 63 out at SeaTac Airport. Right now sitting at 61. 50s still up in Everett at 58 degrees after noticing a slight bump in temperatures with the additional sun here late this afternoon. Things are quiet though, definitely not seeing anything as far as rain across parts of western Washington or really the entire state, as most of that is now on into Idaho, Montana, down into Oregon and Nevada. We have low pressure that's helping to guide the wind current from west to east. High pressure just below that. So we're going to keep this onshore flow going as we go on into the night. And that means we'll keep that marine layer in place. A little weak feature that came through later last night and into the day today helps to increase some of that cloud coverage. And more the same really expected tomorrow. And I think tomorrow's chances of keeping the clouds around for a longer period of the day probably is going to be likely, because we do expect the clouds to be around even until about that 4, 5, 6 o'clock hour. So a lot of clouds tomorrow. We'll see that probably reflected in some of the highs. We'll keep them down another degree or two, so maybe more low 60s this go around. And then by the time we head into Thursday, we start to see that change in the pattern. More sunshine coming on earlier in the day on Thursday, a lot more throughout the day heading on into Friday, and highs bouncing back into the 70s, possibly 80s late weekend. Definitely we'll probably see a few 80s as we head on into next week. Lows tonight dropping down into the 40s. Another chilly evening ahead. 42 in Shelton, 40 in Olympia. We dip down to 48 in Renton and right around those mid to upper 40s farther to the north. And then highs tomorrow topping off at 58 in Port Townsend, Friday Harbor, 64 degrees, 62 in Bellingham. Arlington up to 64 degrees. Again, expect to see a lot of this cloud coverage in place earlier into the day and probably for a good portion of the day too. Don't be surprised, farther to the north you go, across northern King County, maybe Snohomish County again, a few sprinkles out there. Highs right around 60 degrees. Farther south, low to mid 60s down this way with a little sunshine by the end of the day. And then you can see out closer to the coast, we'll see upper 50s to low 60s out there. Your 7-day forecast calling for those highs bouncing back into the 70s. Maybe Thursday, better chances of that on Friday. 80s around by next Tuesday. We'll be back.